her, not to hear us, just to see us like moving mouths. Okay, but thank you all for your time. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Kimi. So the session is going to be split in kind of 4 stages. The first one is by me. I'm Alejandro. I work for Love UK. Then we're gonna have a little chat with Kimi about why this session is relevant for the Chevening students. And then we're gonna go with Lucy and Megan that are gonna talk about the University of Leeds and the subject of the presentation today, that it's sustainable development. And then at the end, we're going to have the alumni, Fernanda, that is going to be talking about her experience. And then she is going to, at that point, all of us, we're going to start answering questions from you guys. So that's kind of the layout of today's presentation. So first of all, I'm gonna do a really quick presentation about Love UK. So what is Love UK? We are an agency that sorry, it's just that I normally do this in Spanish, so it's kind of like I know it in Spanish. So we are a mobility agency that helps students that want to go study in the UK through the whole process. What is that? So we help you out finding the correct university with the correct program that you wanna study, and we take you step by step through the whole application process. So identifying the program, collecting the documents that you're going to be required to apply, applying to the university, applying to scholarships, applying to your visa. So the whole thing. So our goal is to make the process as easy as possible for you, the student. So that's kind of like on a small grasp what we do here. We've been doing this since 2009, so we've been doing this for more than 10 years. I've been here for 10 years, so I'm pretty knowledgeable about what EU students are going to be needing through the whole process. We've helped about 2,000 students now through these 11 years. So we know exactly what you're going to be needing. All of us, it's a small group, it's a small agency, but all of us have expertise in helping you. We've been going to conferences, university conferences, to get to know the universities, the programs, the feeling of the university, so that we can help you out a little bit better and to talk to you with a little bit more confidence about what the university is. I can say that probably about 60% of our students have obtained some sort of scholarship for you for your studies, and yeah, it's part of what we do. We help you out to find out what scholarships are available for you. Now we have Kimi from Chevening that's going to be talking about Chevening, and we can also help you out to apply for CONACYT, for FUNED, FIDER, and all the scholarships available for students that want to study in the UK. We also go to fairs here in Mexico to get to know you face to face. I think you've probably not this year, but last year I've probably seen some of you. If not, that's a good way to get to know the universities, to get to know us. If you want to participate in those fairs, this year is going to be in this like same setup. They're going to be online, so just check out what fairs are for you guys to study in the UK. I think there's going to be one Europosgrados soon in November. So if you want to participate, just go into their website and you can have a fair with the universities and talk about your goals to study in the UK. We also do student visas as our advisory process. We've done a lot of those visas, tier 4 student visas that actually just changed to student visas only. So we are updated with the requirements that the UK government need for your visas. So in case some of you are, I don't know if you're at that point in this moment, but if you're going in January for 2021, we can help you out with your visa. So that's part of what we do also. We work with about 35 universities in the UK. 14 of them are from the Russell Group universities, such as Leeds. These are research-intensive universities, and probably Lucy is going to be explaining a little bit about, and Megan also, about what does a research-intensive university do to give you the best tools to get your BA, your master's, or your PhD studies. Today we're going to be focusing on a master's degree, just because Chevening is that's the goal for Chevening, master's degree programs. And yeah, we do have strategic relationships with funding bodies like Chevening, CONACYT, FUNED, FIDER, to have like this immediate contact when any of our students have issues, to help you out and solve these problems whenever they come up. So that's kind of like the big picture of what Love UK does. You can find out a little bit more of us at our website. That's the one that's on the top of the slide, loveuk.com.mx. So you can log into our website and have a look, and then there's the contact button, so you can start a conversation with us. You're going to be given an advisor that will help you throughout all the process. And yeah, please do get in contact with us. So that was kind of like Love UK's small, quick presentation. I'm gonna now, Kimi wants to give a little bit of an overview of why we are doing this. So Kimi, go ahead. The floor is yours to talk a little bit about Chevening and why this session.
Thank you, Alex. If you can help me with the presentation, please. Thank you, and good morning to everyone. Good morning to Megan and to Lucy. It's a pleasure to share the presentation with you both. So my presentation is in Spanish. Sorry about the change of language. Anyways, I can answer as well both questions in English if you like. Next, please. Okay. Since you are applying or trying to pursue a master's in the UK, even though my presentation will be in Spanish, I mean the slides, I will do it in English, so to be on the same page as Alejandro and Megan and Lucy. So last year we received 1,541 applications. Normally this is the number that we receive. But as you can see on the screen, the number of selected applicants is quite low. So between 2 and 3% of acceptance. So it means that this is a very competitive scholarship. Yes. We do not provide support just because of the sake of providing support. This program, which has been in the UK since 1983, aims to support leaders and influencers. So we look for a very specific profile. In this case, actually today, this year already, 39 Mexicans are already studying in the UK, pursuing their masters in the UK. And why we are doing this kind of activities? Because it's our priority to decentralize the program, which means that we do not always want to have candidates from Mexico City or Monterrey or Guadalajara, which are the main three main cities in Mexico. But on the contrary, we want every year, it's our effort, and that's why we have a very strong bond with Love UK in order for this to make it happen. We want candidates from all parts of the country, from either public, private institutions, from all sorts of topics. However, today, we want to emphasize on sustainable development. Why? Because along with climate change, which will be the topic covered tomorrow, it's one of the three main priorities of these years due to what is going to happen next year, November in Glasgow as part of the COP26. Just for you also to be aware, Chevening, the community in Mexico, is because the most active, the most noisy community in Chevening, Latam. So if you think you have that profile of a leader, of an influencer, then join us. Next slide, please. So in general, Chevening is the flagship scholarship program of the government of the UK. It's funded by the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office and associate organizations. Yes, it's you can find this program in 160 countries, and it's for masters of 1 year in any topic, any UK university or higher education institution. Yes. The purpose of Chevening is, as I mentioned, to support leaders. Why? Because the program is funded and it has a label of official development assistance. So it's a commitment actually by the British government to support these kind of initiatives that aims to support other countries' development. And we do that because it's part as well of the commitment of the UK along with other OECD countries to support this. So because of this, and because it's a government program, important to say that there is no age limit. So some good news for some scholarship programs that have 30 or 35 years old as an age limit, which we know. Just to give you a quick note on that, this year Nigeria is supporting a woman who is 75 years old and who is going to study a master's in education. So as you can see, there is no age limit to fulfill your dreams, not just of a study in the UK, but also to support your country's development, economic and social development. Next one, please. So why to study in the UK? So besides the reasons that Alejandro already explained, and I'm pretty sure that both Megan and Lucy will lay out. Well, the UK has one of the biggest offer that you can find in any other country. And the advantage of studying in the UK is also that you can undertake your master course in just 1 year, not the normal 2 years as other countries, as in the US or other European countries. And because it's 1 year, then the expenses are less compared to other countries. Also, the advantage of doing it in 1 year is that then in the second year you can go back to your country and apply immediately, not just your knowledge, but all your network that you may have created during your our year. So that is one of the things. And what better place to go that to study that where the English language was born. So better other country than that, I don't think so. So as I say, Chevening doesn't cover bachelor's or PhDs. In the past, we used to, but now only master courses, 1 year, minimum 9 months, maximum 12, and it has to be, it cannot be online courses, and the courses need to start in autumn, not January, autumn. So one of the characteristics of any eligible course. Next one, please. So how does, this is a kind of a normal question that we are being asked, how does a normal candidate looks like? So we don't have like a checklist to provide you, but if we can kind of describe our 39 current scholars. So for example, they are people who inspire us, that since the moment that you start reading their application or when you are interviewing them or later on when you have opportunity to talk more with them, they are really people that inspire, that immediately in the conversation, in the words, they can transmit your passion for the topic. And in the area of both sustainable development and climate change, they have chosen, I have to say, University of Leeds as the place to go. Why? Not just because of the professors, but also because of the academic program that you will find there. And actually, when we signed a few years ago an agreement with the Ministry of Energy and CONACYT in Mexico, one of the preferred choice of those co-sponsored scholars was University of Leeds. So also a normal Chevening scholar is someone who doesn't look at the scholarship as the ultimate goal, the professional career. On the contrary, they see the scholarship as part, let's say, as a part of the equation that is their professional life. So it's not the ultimate goal, but rather part of the process because they want to come back and change the circumstances that we are living. Now more than ever, the challenges are big, are really important to address. So that's why they are referring to this kind of support. So, okay, I have identified that there is an issue in Mexico that we have to address, either as in my country in general, or in particular in my community. And what do I need? I need knowledge. I need someone who probably have done something similar previously. So I need to acquire that knowledge. Where the best universities in the best place in the world. So they look back at us and say, "Okay, Chevening, I am this person that looks that cares for this, and I would like to tell you about my idea. How can I change the circumstances that Mexico is living now more than ever?" So they apply, they tell us their idea, and they particularly see the collaboration, that the networking that they can create at the university or in the Chevening unit that they will have as part of an important part of that process. So they are people that inspire others, that look for collaborations, and somehow that they aim to have a social impact in their communities. Next, please. So before you apply, you have to bear in mind 3 things. This is the first stage of the selection process. So the whole selection process, and especially the application, which closes on the 3rd of November at noon UK time, which means 6 a.m. Mexico City time. It's very important that you note this, 3rd of November, 6 a.m. Mexico City time. Of course, that doesn't mean that you have until 5:59 in the morning to submit your application. Don't do that, because normally the system crashes a little bit earlier. So don't do that. But yes, you have to do all your application online. Also, at the moment, at this first stage of the application, you don't have to have started enrollment process in any UK university, just to have identified 3 courses and with their 3 corresponding universities and put them in preferred order to rank them. So just do the application, fill out the application form online, select 3 courses, and for that to say, okay, Kimi has been telling us that we have different choices to look at. How do I make the correct choices? Then approach our colleagues at Love UK that they can help you to not just apply to the universities, but also to select the best choices according to your objectives. That's the first stage. Next slide, please. What are the requirements? Easy requirements. The first one, you already have it. Mexican nationality, so no problem. In case you are dual national, just bear in mind that if you have British nationality, you are not eligible to apply. Why? Because this is a UK-funded program. So if you have others, as normally, I don't know, Spanish, from Spain, from France, from Germany, from Italy, from the US, doesn't matter. You can still apply to Chevening. Just decide under which nationality you are going to do that. So if you are going to apply under your Mexican nationality, then stick to the rules of doing so. Second requirement, you need to have your bachelor degree, which means the paper, the thing that our moms like to hang on the wall. I need the paper or the digital form, doesn't matter. If you don't have that document by the 3rd of November, don't worry. You have until the 22nd of February to have that requirement fulfilled. That means if you pass to the second stage, which is the interview, then you have to show us your degree. Yes, by the 22nd of February. Requirement number 3, you need to have at least 2,800 hours of working experience, equally to 2 years. What kind of experience do we accept? Full-time, paid, underpaid, voluntary work, freelance, yes. The only caveat we have with working experience is that, for example, the hours that Mexican universities ask us as in order to have our degree, like social service or internships, those hours, if it's a compulsory requirement, cannot be taken into account for the working experience. Fourth, you need to have a justification why you want to study in the UK. Yes, why not to go, for example, a question that I normally ask to people who are from the northern states of the country. Why not to go to the US due to the distance? Or why not to go to any other country? Why particularly? You need to tell us why particularly you want to go to the UK and why those chosen courses are going to help you to your professional career. And of course, the third very important reason, why doing through Chevening? Because you can do the whole process of going to the UK, going to University of Leeds. You can do it with another scholarship like a CONACYT, like a FUNED, like a FEDER, or any other type of financial support. So why in particular Chevening? I know that the financial part is helpful, but besides that, what else attracts you from Chevening? Of course, we want to hear about your career plan. Why you are going to do, what are you going to do afterwards that you finish your studies, how you're going to apply all the knowledge and how you're going to use all the connections that you may have created during your study year in the UK, how it's going to be the impact of all of that. Basically, we want to see how the investment, if you look at from this point of view, how the investment that the UK is doing in Mexico through you, it's going to benefit Mexico's social and economic development. That's what we want to look at, to listen to you. Of course, as I mentioned, because this funding from the UK government has a particular purpose of official development assistance. Because of this, you are obliged, but rather than obliged, I think it's part of your commitment to help your country to come back to Mexico for at least 2 years. This is non-negotiable. So either if Leeds University tells you, you know, Alejandro, you have the best, you did the best masters ever, so we want to give you a fully funded opportunity to do a PhD, even that, I don't know, even the Queen offers you a job at the royal household, you are obliged to come back to Mexico. This is non-negotiable. And even with the opportunity announced last year that if you study in a UK university of higher education institution, that you can apply for a 2-year visa, this is not going to be allowed. You have to come back to Mexico. Yes, minimum 2 years. So, like, we are not asking you to never come back to the UK or return to the UK or find another job opportunity in another country. No, we are only asking you to return to Mexico and apply for the benefit of the country for just 2 years. Chevening doesn't ask you for an English requirement no more. That we leave it completely on the university hands, but we still would like to remind you that you still need to fulfill with the English requirement. So if you are unaware or you don't know what type of exam and the level and everything that you need to know, go to Love UK and they are going to tell you what are the requirements on that. And the last requirement, it's quite easy, not to have received previously support from the British government to undertake a study, whatever study that might be. So very easy requirements. I am pretty sure that you have, most of you have all of this, or at least are in the way of having all this fulfilled. If you don't worry. Keep working, for example, on your English, or keep working on your working experience, or fulfill or finish all the requirements that you may need to do at university to have your degree. Yes. And next, thank you. Second stage, that is the interview. If you are invited to attend an interview, you will be notified at the beginning of February of this. You will need to fulfill with 3 things. The most important are the 2 recommendation letters, which can be one academic, one professional, 2 professionals, 2 academics. Doesn't matter, you decide, but choose some referees that can tell us exactly who you are. We are not looking for the CEO of a company or the president or a minister of a state. No, we are looking for people that really can tell you about your leadership potential and how you develop in a professional sphere. As I mentioned, because this is a government-supported program, there is no age limit, and under no circumstances someone can be discriminated against age or civil status or your orientation or sexual orientation, or either you are from a public or private university. No discrimination whatsoever. And also there is no limit on the number of times you can apply to Chile. Thank you. And very important, if you have a master or even a PhD, you can still apply to Chevening. This year, out of the 39, 4 had already a master degree, and even 1 had a PhD. So, of course, if you have previous postgraduate experience, you just need to tell us why this second will add more to your professional career. Sorry, thank you. Third stage is, of course, if you have a positive outcome of your interview. In that case, we only need an unconditional offer from the university. Unconditional. And that's it. Thank you. Next one, please. So, at the beginning, I told you that it can be in any topic, and I sustain that. I keep on that. But of course, every year there is a revision according to the needs of the country or to the group. This year we have 3 priority areas. One is health, that of course due to COVID, so we aim to support any health or medicine related subjects. Second, as I mentioned, is climate change and sustainable development because of COP26. And the third priority area is gender. Why? Because of this year's Beijing Declaration anniversary, and because of what is going to happen next year, particularly in Mexico, with generation equality activities. So because of these 3 priorities, however, please don't discourage yourself or don't self-eliminate yourself if your chosen course doesn't fit within these 3 or even within these general 5. Whatever you want to study, whatever that you want to study, but at the end will have the final outcome of supporting Mexico's development. It's eligible to be as supported by GB. Yes, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's arts, it doesn't matter if it's music, if it's literature, if it's creative industries, if it is human rights, if it is economics or finance, or if it's international relations. Whatever subject is eligible to achieve. Next one, please. So what does Achieving Scholarship cover? So why do we say that we are the best scholarship in the world? Well, because first of all, which other scholarship covers 100% of your tuition fees? Of course, we only have a little tiny caveat on MBAs, but the rest is eligible. With MBAs, there is a limit of 18,000 just for the tuition fees. The rest of the stuff that we cover are 100%, but only MBAs. So if you are studying another master's that it is not an MBA, it's 100% covered. Then you will receive a monthly stipend enough to cover your food, your transport, your accommodation, and even your entertainment if you can administer yourself good on that. We will cover as well your return fare from your place of origin. So, for example, if you are from Merida, the flight will cover from Merida City, not you don't need to pay from a flight from Merida to Mexico City and then Mexico to the UK. No, from Merida, your airfare will be covered. Then the visa is covered, and the IHS is a fee that any international student pays to the UK in order to have access to the NHS, to the Social Security Service. So what else? It's covered: an arrival allowance, departure allowance, and transport allowance to attend compulsory events in London. Of course, because we aim that your experience is not just academically, we also include within this package networking events, conferences, travels, and voluntary opportunities around the UK. All this happy meal, as sometimes I call it, it's you don't need to sign something. You don't need to leave sign a document that, I'm going to pay you upon my return. No. So basically, it means that all of this is for free. In other words, in simple words, it's for free. The only requirement for this to be valid is that you have to return to Mexico upon your completion of your studies. That's it. Yes? Next. So, as you can see, the best scholarship. So, what is the backbone of this program? Of course, is the alumni community. You are the reason why, or the alumni community is the reason why the program has been successful after 37 years. Yes. So all of our alumni are now people that have very important positions. So, for example, if you are so much into development or climate change, you may have heard about Sandra Guzman. Sandra Guzman is one of our alumni who currently is a leading voice on development and climate change issues. So people like her, people like, for example, the creators of Letras de Tres in Mexico. We have other people like, for example, Lisa Sanchez, the director of México Unido contra la Delincuencia, and so on. So you tell me which area do you want to hear about achieving a successful Chevening alumni, and I can tell you a name. Next one, please. So it's also the chance, because the Chevening is not about our year and that's it, and good luck and have the best of your life. No, it's actually the opportunity that upon your return, actively working with the British Embassy, either during organization of events or by undertaking projects and so on. So whatever project that you want to undertake and to which you can ask for funds to Chevening, you can do it. Which kind of projects or which kind of events? Those who aim to integrate the community, not just on the same hour year, but with different hour years, and other leadership programs like British Council's Future Leaders Connect, Active Citizens, Global Shapers, One Young World, Enactus, Tibernos, etc. Yes. Also, projects or events that aim to support or create more awareness about the Chevening program. And finally, events and projects that, of course, aim to support British priorities in Mexico. So whatever you can think of, you can do it with Chevening after your studies. The next slide, please. So the application, as I mentioned, is online, different sections, but the most important part of your section is the 4 essays that you have to write. Each essay has a limit of 500 words per essay, and the first essay is on leadership and influencing. The second is on networking. The third on why study in the UK, and the fourth on your career plan. Yes. Next. Yes. Here, just 6 tips from the Chevening officers in LATAM that I think it could be helpful for you. First of all, be original. Do not copy others' ideas. Transmit your own ideas. And also be aware that all the applications pass through a plagiarism detector. So if we detect that part of whole of your application has been plagiarized, unfortunately, we will need to take out your application from the revision. Also, be honest. I know that we might tend to present ourselves as the best of our area, but be true to yourself. Nothing is small. Not a single experience or activity is small. Everything is useful. So be honest with yourself. We are talking about 2,000 words that basically can define your life, the rest of your life, or be a very decisive breaking point in your life. So because of those 2,000 words, give the respect and give the time and effort that your application deserves. We are 2 weeks away from the closure of the application period, but still there is time to write a very good application if you haven't started, or to finish a very good application if you have already started one. Only for essays, and I'm pretty sure I can guarantee that you have an example for each essay. So don't be repetitive. And go straight to answer the question. Don't go in circles and trying to give us definition about leadership. No, go and answer your questions with a clear, recent, and concrete examples of your experience, in academic experience or professional experience or even personal experience. Yes, these are 6 top tips for a successful application. Next, please. So here, I don't know if Alejandro can play. It's a video.
Yeah.
To undertake or how to do a successful application. This video was presented by the reading committee, so take note of the recommendations by London. So I really encourage you to go to the last link, the reading committee link. Why? Because in that part, they really tell you, oh, this is the expected attitude that we look for in leadership, in networking, study in the UK, and career plans. So really useful information. So this is how the process of selection process looks like. It's more than 1 year. And among this, I'm not going to go into the detail because it will take me a little bit more of time. So just quickly, some takeaways. First of all, your applications will be assessed by human beings. It's not the algorithm of a computer, of a program. No, human beings that do not work for the FCDO or the British Embassy or Chevening, but independent people that basically give their time and are selected and are trained to assess the applications. So yes, so because of this, the 2,000 words that you are going to write, since the word number 1 catch their attention. Yes. Another takeaway, the interview global period takes place between March and April. Normally are face-to-face interviews, but because current circumstances, we might have again remote interviews. We don't know yet. We don't know what is going to happen in March, but if the circumstances put you in a danger, you or any member of the selection committee, we of course are not going to put you in danger or I don't know, do something against your health and well-being. So we will do remote interviews as well. So these are some few of the takeaways of this part. Next slide, please. So without the important funding from the Ministry of Education here in Mexico, or Shell, or BP, or Mansion House Scholarship, we wouldn't be able to support 39 scholars. Yes, the CEP supports 15 scholarships from public university, Mexican public university graduates. BP and Shell are more into energy, although lately they have been able to support as well sustainable topics as well. And Mansion House Scholarship from Lord Mayor's office, 2 scholarships on finance-related topics. And actually, I have to say that the 2 Mansion House scholarships of this year are related to climate change. So that is the next slide, please. So here are our contact details. If you have any questions or comments about the process, please refer to our email, chevening.mexico@fcdo.gov.uk. If you would like to listen to some words of wisdom of alumni, Chevening alumni, you can write to the Mexican Chevening Alumni Association at cheveningalumnimx@gmail.com. And the social media of Chevening, especially in the webpage, chevening.org, there is a section there is a guidance actually that can take you throughout the process, and there is a frequently asked questions section that also can solve some of your more common questions on the process and the program in general. And I think from my side, that's it. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward for your questions later on. Thank you, Alejandro.
Thank you, Kimi. Thank you for the presentation. I think we can go straight away with Megan and Lucy's part of the presentation. So Megan, if you want to share your screen, go ahead, and then we can start with you guys.
Let's try, hey? This is always fun. So hi everyone, and thank you so much for your time and for being here today. Thanks to Kimi for that excellent presentation about Chevening. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see it.
Great. So if I start the presentation, all good?
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, so hi everyone, thank you for joining us here today. So my name is Megan, and I'm the International Officer here at the University of Leeds. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview of what we're going to talk about today between the 3 representatives here from the University of Leeds. Does that screen look okay, or is it a bit strange? It looks a bit strange on my version. Is that okay?
Yeah, it does a little bit. It does look a little bit strange.
No. If I do this, is that better? Like, does it fill the entire screen now?
It looks a little like overlapped.
I'm not
Maybe
really sure what.
Maybe if you turn off turn it on again.
Hold on. Let me just try again. We're having all the technical fun today, aren't we?
When we tried it yesterday, it didn't have any issues.
It worked perfectly yesterday, didn't it, Alejandro? We did a little test and everything. So let me try from here. How's that?
No, it looks the same.
Okay, I'm just going to exit presentation mode then and leave it like that, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Can you see it like that? Is that all right?
Yeah, we can see it.
Sorry, everyone. So the joys of home working, So welcome to today's session for University of Leeds part. So we're gonna, I'm gonna give you a quick overview and an introduction to the University of Leeds. So I'll only speak for about 10 minutes or so. Feel free to pop any questions in the chat as we go. in English or in Spanish. Fernando and I both speak Spanish. The second part of the session, we'll hand over to Dr. Lucy Middlemiss, who is the co-director of the Sustainability Research Institute here at the University of Leeds. And that's going to be the main part of today's session from Leeds. So she's going to talk about sustainable development here at Leeds, and both the research that we're undertaking and also the master's programmes that you can study in that area here at Leeds. And then we're going to hand over to Fernanda, who is a recent graduate. She's just finished her master's here at Leeds with us. So she's going to share her experience as a student here at Leeds. She's one of our student ambassadors who works with us at the university. So welcome, as we said. If you're joining us for the first time, we really look forward to speaking to you and to telling you a little bit more about Leeds and hopefully answering some of your questions. But we did also want to say that we hope you're all well at the moment. We know that times are difficult for everyone, and we would normally be travelling to Mexico at this time of year to meet you, and obviously that's not possible. So we hope that everyone is staying safe at the moment. So why might you be considering coming to Leeds? So there's just some kind of key highlights on this slide. I hope you can see it. So Leeds is one of the top 100 universities in the world in terms of the QS World Ranking. And as Alejandro mentioned at the beginning of the session, we're also part of the Russell Group of research-intensive universities in the UK. Lucy's going to talk more about how that relates to the area of sustainability in more detail. But generally, that means that over 80% of our research is world-leading or internationally excellent. And it also means that the research that we're carrying out informs the programmes. So your modules and your programmes will be taught by academics who are experts in their area and who are teaching you content that they themselves are actively researching. So it's a research-led education. The university is the 35th most international university in the world because of our diverse student body. And because of the international recognition of our research output. As well as being academically prestigious, Leeds is a good place to be a student, and Fernando will tell you more about this. So we were voted 3rd in the UK for student experience in 2018, and Leeds City Centre has also been deemed one of the top places to live in the UK by the Sunday Times, which is one of our national newspapers here. Leeds graduates also leave with really good employable skills, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about this in a moment, but we're actually the 7th most targeted university by UK employers, and our graduates leave not just with academic knowledge, but also with the professional skills that they need to be really successful in their field. So not everyone necessarily knows where Leeds is located in the UK. So I've got a little map here. So you can see that Leeds is located in the north of England, but sort of quite central within the whole of the UK. So we are about 2 hours from London by train and about 1 hour from Manchester. So we're quite central. The city is well connected by train and also served by 2 international airports, which are within 1 hour's travel of the city centre. So that makes it very easy for our students to explore both the rest of the UK and Europe when they're here studying with us. Leeds is located in a region of the UK called Yorkshire, which is where I'm from, so you might be able to start to recognise a Yorkshire accent. Yorkshire, as well as having big cities like Leeds, also has outstanding natural areas of beauty, so like national parks, areas like the Yorkshire Dales where you can go and hike. And explore some of the UK's beautiful countryside as well as cities. Leeds is a very student-friendly city. There are 3 other universities in the city alongside the University of Leeds. So a lot of the city life is focused around students. In terms of industry, Leeds has big legal, business and financial sectors. We have the biggest financial sector outside of London and the fastest growing legal sector in the UK. And we're also a centre in the north of the UK for creative industries, so opera, theatre, art and music. And we also have 3 sports stadiums, so the football stadium of our newly promoted football team, which is very exciting, as well as cricket and rugby. So lots to get involved with within the city. So you can see on this slide just an example of what the city's architecture looks like, or some examples. So you'll see that it's a real mixture of more traditional Victorian style architecture and also more modern buildings. And our campus also reflects that kind of mixture of different architecture. So the university itself, I'm just checking out. So the university is located all on one single campus, which you can see, I hope, in this slide. So this, our single campus is just located 10 minutes walk from the city centre. So this means that you have all of the facilities that you need on one single campus, but you also have the convenience of a big city right on your doorstep. So the university itself was established in 1904, so we've been going for over 100 years now. And as we mentioned earlier, it's part of the Russell Group of universities in the UK, which is a real indicator of the prestige of the institution. We are one of the largest universities in the UK, so we currently have over 38,000 students studying with us from 170 different countries. And as I mentioned earlier about us being a very international university, our student body is very diverse. So 9,000 of our students at the moment are international students and not from the UK. We currently have around 150 students from Latin America. And of those, Mexico is definitely the biggest group. So we have around 50 students studying with us from Mexico, including some Chevening scholars and some students who are funded by other funding programs and other scholarships from Mexico. As well as being a diverse student body in terms of our nationalities, there's also a real diversity of subjects. So we offer over 300 master's programs in a real range of areas. And these master's programs are split and taught by 7 different faculties. So today we'll be focusing on the School of Earth and Environment, which is within the Faculty of Environment. But you will be studying alongside students who are studying a real range of disciplines, which really enriches your academic, personal and professional development, that you'll be interacting with students who are studying a completely different subject and developing a completely different set of skills to yourself. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I know that our focus today is the sustainability area and the earth and environment area. But just to give you an idea of the kind of quality that Leeds has achieved in recent rankings, you can see some of our key highlights here. So what you'll notice is that we're top 10 for a lot of subjects here in the UK, including things like law and business, and also really strong in engineering, physical sciences and environment subjects and life sciences. I'm not going to talk too much about this area, and there's lots of information that you can find online about this, and I think Fernanda's also going to touch on this a little bit. But just to mention that the university, as well as developing your academic skills, will give you a real good focus on your career options and in helping you develop the skills that you need to pursue your chosen career. So this is through a wide range of services and opportunities that are available to our students, and you can see just some examples on the slide here. So things like a career centre, which is supported by dedicated employability teams within faculties, so who are a bit more specialist, many events and networking opportunities. And because of us being a Russell Group and a well-respected institution, that means that we have really strong links with local, national and international industry. Again, this is one that Fernanda's going to talk to you more about in detail, particularly about student life and what it's like to study here at Leeds. I just wanted to mention that we understand that studying in the UK can be exciting, but can also be a challenge. So there's lots of support available for international students and students more generally. So that begins before you even start with us. We can help with visa advice, we can help making sure that you arrive safely and that you're able to settle in. And then there's a wide range of support from personal tutors on your course to the Students' Union, which offers counselling and welfare services, and our medical practice here on campus, and also intercultural support, so opportunities to meet students from different nationalities through initiatives like our Global Cafe. One thing that students often ask me about is accommodation. So if you're an international postgraduate student, your accommodation in the university will be guaranteed. This is a wide range of options for this, lots of different types of residences, some with shared bathroom and some with private bathroom, and a variety of different locations. So some of our accommodation is on campus and some of it is in a slightly different area of the city. We do also have at Leeds dedicated postgraduate residences, which is really good. If you're studying a master's, you don't probably want to live with lots of 18-year-old undergraduate students who are away from home for the first time and quite excited. But you do always have your own bedroom in the UK. That's not common to share bedrooms here. So once you're kind of applied to the university and are starting to sort of accept your offer, that's when you would normally be looking at accommodation, but just to let you know that it is guaranteed. So just a little bit of practical stuff from me, and then I should hopefully be nearly done. So if you've studied your bachelor's degree in Mexico, we would be looking for most of our master's programs. We would be asking for a GPA of 8 out of 10. That would be the entry requirement from your bachelor's. You may need to have studied a specific subject before. So if you're applying for an electronic engineering master's, you'll need a bachelor's in electronic engineering, which seems fairly logical. And all of that can be found on the course page. So when you're searching for your program, check the requirements on that course page really carefully. We also ask for an IELTS from all of our master's applicants, and that's normally a score of 6.5 with 6 in each component. Some programs might be higher. So for example, international business is higher. And things like teaching English as a second language are a little bit higher as well. So always check, but generally it's a 6.5 that we're looking for. I'm not going to go through this part in detail because I think this is all available online, but just wanted to mention that the application process to apply to the UK or to apply to Leeds is not as complicated as students often think. It's 100% free to submit an application, and it's possible to apply to several different programs if you're not quite sure. And also to mention, as Alejandro said at the beginning of the session, that Love UK in Mexico can provide you with lots of support. They've been supporting students coming to Leeds for a number of years now. So they're really well versed in the application processes. So if you have any questions, then either reach out to the university directly and we'll be happy to help, or to Love UK and they'll also be able to help you. In terms of fees and scholarships, the fees for your programme will always be on the course page. So this is the best place to check for your fees, as well as Chevening, which is a really fantastic scholarship as it's so complete. We do also offer some scholarships within the university. So individual faculties or schools will offer scholarships, and you can search for those at the Masters Funding webpage that you can see on the screen there. In addition to our university scholarships, if you aren't selected for Chevening, you can look at applying to other funding in Mexico. So we have agreements with CONACYT, FUNED and FIDER to offer fee discounts to funded students. So for CONACYT, that's a 30% fee discount, and for FUNED and FIDER, that's a 25% discount. So I often advise students to apply to all the different scholarships that they can, so apply to Chevening and CONACYT and FUNED and the university and see what comes back. And often you can combine these different sources. So I have seen students in the past combine a university scholarship with an external scholarship as well. And there's more information about that on our webpage. So I think that's it from me. I'm going to hand over to Lucy now. I'm just going to pop a message in the chat. Yeah, whenever you're ready, Lucy, take it away.
Thank you. So this is a bit of a surreal experience. I'm hoping you can hear me. Thumbs up from Megan. Yeah, it's probably the most detached teaching I've ever done, or interaction with students I've ever done. Because normally it's a bit strange to be teaching online, but this time I am hoping that somebody's out there in Mexico listening to me. So I look forward to hearing some questions at least, because that will feel like some interaction. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about sustainability degrees at Leeds, master's degrees at Leeds. I wanted to start off by pointing out that the sustainability master's degree programs sit within the School of Earth and Environment, and that we are first in the UK for the quality of world-leading research in terms of our outputs. This is measured kind of in complicated ways, but one of the things you need to know about Leeds is that we are a really well-known department we do lots and lots of research on environment generally, and then we also have the Sustainability Research Institute, which I'm co-director of, which works on sustainability. So could we have the next slide, please? So we are, as I say, the largest Earth and Environment school in the UK, with around 600 undergraduates and 250 master's students. There are 130 academic staff, and we tend to attract about 50 PhD students every year and have around 200 in the school at any one time. So we're a really big group of people. We also have really good access to research funding. NERC is the Natural Science Research Funding Council in the UK, and so we have the highest funding from them as well. We're really a big and successful department in the UK. Next slide, please. So within that department, we do research-led teaching. And what that means is that we really integrate our research into the things that we teach. Now, there's a combination of ways of doing this. That can be just teaching about the research that we do, but it can also be engaging students in the research that we do. And that's something that we're very keen on doing, because we see our master's degrees and even our undergraduate degrees as a form of research training. And so at the end of an undergraduate or master's degree with us, you will have a good understanding of how to do research in your chosen subject area, and also really good and familiar understanding of the sort of most current research on sustainability. So these are the 6 institutes within the school, sort of within the school. Global Food and Environment Institute is bigger than the school. But the 2 here that are relevant is SRI, Sustainability Research Institute, which I co-lead, and the Global Food and Environment Institute, which also has a master's starting next year. So I will tell you a bit about that in a minute. Next slide, please. So we're kind of focusing down here. We've gone from university to Faculty of Environment to School of Environment, and then down into the Institute, Sustainability Research Institute. So at this level, there's still lots of us. There are 40 academic staff, roughly 25, I think that's probably an underestimate, maybe 30 research staff, and 50 to 60 research students. We also have 300 undergraduate students and over 180 master's students. So really a lot of people doing studying and researching on sustainability. The work that we do is international, and it's also internationally recognized. And we're really very much engaged in interdisciplinary research around pretty much all aspects of sustainability. By which I mean, I suppose, if you know about the Sustainable Development Goals, we are researching on pretty much every one of those, and perhaps in combinations of those goals as well. So we do interdisciplinary research, and we also do problem-oriented research, which means that our research is really very applied. That means that we are looking for problems in the everyday and trying to understand how problems in everyday life can be solved in quite practical terms. So we partner very frequently with non-academics, so with companies or businesses or governments or non-governmental organizations. And we do this in order to have impact. Now, I'll talk about my own work from this perspective in a minute to give you a sense of what that means. Next slide, please. So in SRI, we do interdisciplinary research. We tend to be social science led. So most of us are social scientists. I'm a sociologist working on environmental issues. And my colleagues are social scientists, but ranging from economists, political scientists, psychologists, from all the different disciplines in effect that work on environment. And then we use this interdisciplinary collaboration across the Institute to look at a wide range of sustainability challenges. As I say, our specialism is in this applied social science research, so looking at real world sustainability problems and trying to work out what we can do about them. And as I say, I've already said, we cover all of the Sustainable Development Goals in our research. Next slide, please. So when I talk about applied interdisciplinarity, what I suppose our motivation here is that this problem, the problems of sustainable development, actually multiple problems of sustainable development, require an interdisciplinary response. They require people that are engineers together with people that are sociologists, together with people that are economists, to work together to solve those kinds of problems. And this is our expertise. So this is where we've been doing this for years. I've been in the Institute for 16 years. It's existed for about 20 years, and we've been doing this kind of work for a long time. I would say that other academic institutions are catching up with this, but it does mean that we're really experienced with this interdisciplinary work, which is quite popular as a sort of new kind of research in the UK, although we've been doing it for ages. In this work, we put real world problems at the forefront, as I've said, and we're looking to make real world impacts. And what that means is that we're doing research into policy and practice in our diverse research areas, and trying to really kind of feed into policy making, feed into the way that people practice, in order to help people do a better job, really, of working towards sustainable development. Can I have the next slide, please? And I'm using this as an example of from my own work. So I work on energy poverty is one of my themes that I work on. And energy poverty touches on a couple of sustainable development goals. So it touches on the poverty sustainable development goals, as well as the right to and access to energy sustainable development goal. In this work, I do lots of different things, and so I'm just using some images there to represent those. So I have the image, which is the Nature Energy paper, the importance of social relations, blah blah blah. That's one of my highest impact outputs on this project, which is written for Nature Journal, which is a really prestigious and well-known journal. So that's kind of what the academic contribution. The picture of all the people at the bottom is when I helped to run a workshop in the Netherlands with a friend and colleague of mine who works on energy poverty in the Netherlands. And from this, we've been building up to write up a white paper, so which is a piece of advice to the Dutch government about how they ought to deal with energy poverty. So together with myself and some Dutch colleagues, we've written that white paper together. The middle picture, that's me with shorter hair presenting to the European Union, presenting my work at the European Union. And then the slide below represents the picture below represents my teaching. So I've been talking about this work in my teaching, and so the people that I'm teaching understand the policy and the policy recommendations, as well as the original research here that I did. And then on the right hand side, you've got a couple of news articles, one from Dutch paper and one from the Italian newspaper, about the work that I've been doing on that topic. So what as academics, we're trying to sort of spread ourselves across all of these kind of fronts. So do good academic work, do good policy work, to communicate our findings to policymakers, and also to communicate our findings beyond policymakers into the press and beyond. And that's kind of typical of my colleagues at Sustainability Research Institute. And I guess it means that the degrees that we teach are very much focused towards these kind of more practical outcomes, as well as the more academic outcomes. So we have a mix of kind of things that you would contribute in a degree like this, and kind of assignment that you would need to do in a degree like this. Next slide, please. Within my institute, I've just noticed I've failed to correct that to 6 research groups. There are 6 research groups. They're all listed there. There's a group of people working on business and sustainable development. A group of economists. Some people working on environment and development, so looking particularly on development goals. The social and political dimensions of sustainability, which is the more soft social sciences, like myself. There's people working on energy and climate change, and also on climate change adaptation. So we have lots of really important and relevant research groups listed there. And then we also have some really well-known research centres, and I've listed those there as well. Next slide, please. So what about our master's degrees? This is where your interests come in. and I will give a little bit more detail on them as I go on. Could I have the next slide already? So one of the things that people kind of worry about, I suppose, when they're thinking about doing a master's degree is what the value of a sustainability degree is. And I would say that there are some really, I mean, in the UK, certainly, there's a really, really big market for our graduates, lots and lots of jobs associated with sustainability, particularly because I guess this is the thing that a lot of people are thinking about in terms of a challenge that the world is facing in the future. And coming out of one of our degrees, you're prepared to help an organisation deal with that. And so one of the things that we find is that there are career opportunities all the time that are driven by, for instance, new legislation. So at the EU, my example of me talking to the EU about my own work, it was in response to them changing their regulation on energy in the EU, and then they want to have people that understand enough about sustainability to be able to be involved in that change. And so do all the European countries that are associated with the EU. So there's a sort of, you can see that there's a lot of drivers for change going on there through change in legislation, as well as through change in legislation impacting on companies and organisations. And so we see a lot of our graduates go off to work for businesses or public sector organisations on sustainability issues, as well as consultancies and more formal research organisations. And I would say that the quotes on the right-hand side are all about the fact that it's a really growing jobs market. Also, these are really satisfying careers. I mean, if you want to do something in your life that has an impact, this is a really great field to be in. A lot of us in the Institute are motivated by that. We feel that we have impacts through our research, also absolutely through our education. So through our education of master's students, and who then go off sometimes back to the countries that they came from and change things there. And so that's a very inspiring part of our job for us. And I think having a satisfying career does give you a happier work life. Can I move on to the next slide, please? And then the applied aspect of our research and the applied aspect of our teaching is absolutely about giving students the opportunity to be thinking about real-world problems and thinking about the solutions to real-world problems. And this idea of a bias for action is quite important here. So it really means that if you're working on problem-based learning and you're thinking about solutions to problems through your learning, you're able to go into the workplace and start to implement that kind of thinking in the workplace as you graduate. And that's very much a motivation for us as well in our program. Next slide, please. This is, I suppose, the same kind of message. I think I'll go on to the next slide again. Okay, so some of this I've covered already, but I just wanted to kind of outline some of the benefits of doing our master's degrees. These are interdisciplinary social science-based degrees, so they don't necessarily require a huge amount of natural science background. If you're a sociologist or a psychologist, you can also join us. But at the same time, it's okay to also join us with a geology background or geography. And the list on the slide there is kind of the range of degrees that we accept. So we're really interested in a broad range of students, because actually we like to run our degrees with a broad range of students with different backgrounds. And then actually many of us have quite interesting and different backgrounds in the first place. So I think that we're used to talking to people that are learning about things, and it just means that everybody is learning together potentially about management and of sustainability problems. And I've talked a lot about how this can be career enhancing, as well as giving you a combination of strong academic and also more general skills, as I've talked about, like the example of using problem-based learning and creating solutions in the workplace. Next slide, please. So this is our full list of master's degrees, and I'm not going to tell you a lot about any of them because there's a lot of them, as you can see. I'm just going to give you a bit of a description of each to give you a sense of what we do. So the first is sustainability and consultancy, listed here. Now this is a program which also has an internship at the end, where you spend your final 3 months working in industry. And then you write up that experience as a report. So instead of doing an academic project at the end, you do a placement in industry. And it has a huge amount of success, not least because people quite often go and do that internship and then end up working in that organization afterwards. It's almost like a very long interview is one of the ways that we describe it. We have an MSc in Sustainability and Business, and that's taught by our really world-leading business team. There's around eight colleagues at Leeds who work on environment and business topics. It's really unusual to have that many people in one place working on these topics, and also particularly with a very strong kind of and broad interest in environment and business. So it's not just corporate social responsibility, it's much more broad than that. And we've had interest in the past, for instance, in how employees can create change in organizations, and sustainable entrepreneurship was a big interest for us for a while. And you can see that then it's much a broader kind of topic area than just CSR. Environment and development is about developing world problems, environmental problems, and how we find ways of solving those. And we have a big team that is associated with that degree. The fourth item there is the same program, but with a trip to Tanzania with our specialist Susie Salu, who has a really, really strong country connection with Tanzania. And they spend 2 weeks in Tanzania exploring the country, doing a bit of research, thinking about the challenges that face Tanzania and trying to offer some solutions there. Climate change and environmental policy is kind of describes itself, but we have a really world-leading group working on climate change, both from the natural sciences perspective and within my institute, SRI, from a social science perspective. So that's the more policy angle. We also have great ecological economists who work on the sort of a very kind of what's the word? Progressive version of economics. It's not absolutely not the sort of conventional neoclassical economics. And if people are interested in this, you probably know a bit about it already. And it's the sort of thing that would be worth reading up about zero growth and these kinds of techniques. Happy to answer questions. Then we have sustainable food systems, which starts next year in 2021, and which has been designed as a interdisciplinary course, which looks at all aspects of food systems: production, consumption, how the system works as a whole, supply chains, and I'm going to be involved in that on the consumption front. So happy to answer any questions on that. And then the final one listed here is sustainable cities, which is a master's we started about 2 years ago. Again, it's interdisciplinary, and it looks at all the sort of challenges that cities face and how they might be changing the way that they work in order to become more sustainable. Again, I can answer questions in detail about any of those. Next slide, please. Some examples of the sort of research projects that we do. Now, the consultancy program doesn't have a research project, but these are the kinds of things that people might be looking at. So the fourth one is CSR, corporate social responsibility in football. What happens in the English Premier League in terms of corporate social responsibility? That would be typically a sustainable business project. The sustainable consumption pathway to carbon emissions reduction. So how do we reduce emissions by means of consumption? That's the last one listed there. And the second one, it seems like more of a development project to me. How joint forestry management schemes contribute to climate change development in Zambia. You can see how those projects come about. Our projects are quite often turned into publications, our master's project. I'm doing that with one student this year. So this is really high quality work being produced and then sometimes being published as well. Next slide, please. Where could this lead you? I have covered this already, I think, but broadly speaking, we're talking companies and consultancies, public sector and intergovernmental work, some of the agencies listed there, UNEP and so on, NGOs and not-for-profits, perhaps to do a funded PhD at Leeds or elsewhere, or in new positions with a previous employer. Sometimes people come to do these degrees and then go back to the job that they were doing before. And I think I'm on my final slide now. Next slide. Yeah, that's it. So I just wanted to say that we are, the sort of take-home message here is that we're world-leading experts in this field, and we're really committed to excellent teaching as well as our excellent research. We're really passionate about our research and its impact, and I'd say we're also a welcoming, international and friendly community. And the 3 photos you have there are Mexicans that we've had recently. So Paola and Marco and Paola are the top 2. They're a couple, and they really had a big impact on our department. Marco now works at the University of York. Paola is still working with us at University of Leeds, and University of York is about 50 miles, like 60 kilometers down the road. And they've had a big impact for us in terms of linking us with Mexico over many years, because they've been in the department for a long time. And Sylvia at the bottom is a more recent PhD student that we've been working with. Thank you.
I'm just gonna, oh, there we go. Hi, thank you so much, Lucy. That was great. Thanks. I know you can't hear us, but it was really interesting. Thank you so much. So I'm now going to pass it over to Fernanda, who I think has managed to unmute herself and is all here to speak a little bit about her experience as a student here at the University of Leeds.
Okay, thank you, Megan. So, esta parte de la presentación yo la voy a hacer en español y yo les voy a platicar sobre mi experiencia en la Universidad de Leeds. Yo soy Fernanda Galván, soy ahora ya egresada de la maestría en Comunicación Internacional y soy Student Ambassador, que es un programa que tiene la Universidad de Leeds. ¿Podemos ir a la siguiente, Megan, por favor? Bueno, pues yo creo que esto ya lo escucharon, pero yo decidí asistir a la Universidad de Leeds porque es una de las 100 mejores universidades a nivel mundial y como ya les comentaron, está dentro del Russell Group, que es un grupo de universidades que están enfocadas a la investigación y son las mejores universidades del Reino Unido. Otra cosa que me gustó mucho es que todo estaba dentro del campus, las bibliotecas, el gimnasio, inclusive hay bares, teatros, todo quedaba ahí cerca y no te tendrías que desplazar de un lugar a otro para tomar tus clases, podrías estar ahí todo el día y sin ningún problema, todo estaba ahí dentro. Y pues ya respecto a mi carrera, la School of Media and Communication es una de las mejores en the UK, me parece que estaba en el lugar número 2, entonces por eso yo decidí irme a estudiar a la Universidad de Leeds. Thank you, Megan. Next, please. Sobre mi experiencia académica, algo que me gustó mucho cuando yo estuve allá es que mis compañeros eran de todo el mundo, había personas tanto de UK como personas de Alemania, Nigeria, Italia, Venezuela, entonces todos teníamos un background muy diferente, todos éramos, la mayoría ya éramos profesionales, teníamos algo de experiencia en nuestro campo, entonces pues no simplemente que éramos de otros países, sino lo que habíamos trabajado antes nos ayudaba a tener perspectivas muy diferentes y clases muy ricas. Igual las clases eran pequeñitas, yo llegué a tener creo que máximo 20 o 25 compañeros en mi clase, entonces la atención de los profesores era muy personalizada y podíamos conocernos todos. Igualmente en mi escuela siempre había conferencias, cursos, talleres a los que pues no era obligatorio asistir, pero sí te enriquecían mucho de manera profesional porque podías conocer otras personas de la industria con las que podías tener pues buenos contactos y hacer networking con ellos. Igualmente nos asignaron un tutor. Ese tutor, más que académico, también te ayudaba en cuestiones personales, podías platicar con él y siempre estaba al pendiente de ti. Otra parte que me gustó mucho era que la universidad se enfoca mucho en bienestar, en cuestiones de salud mental y siempre están al pendiente de cómo te sientes. Y pues también que los profesores tienen amplia experiencia. La mayoría de mis profesores no solo eran investigadores, tenían también, en mi caso, experiencia trabajando en televisión, en agencias de noticias, en organismos internacionales y creo que eso le abona muchísimo a que no solo son investigadores, sino también tienen experiencia de campo en lo que hacen. Thanks, Megan. Please, next. Bueno, y como también ya lo escucharon, la Universidad de Leeds tiene más de 300 sociedades y clubes. Esto yo no lo había visto en otras universidades de México, pero son literalmente grupos en los que pues puedes participar y se dividen en montón de intereses, hay grupos de danza, de política, como ahí está la Mexican Society, entonces puedes buscar algo que te guste, inclusive había sociedad de Harry Potter, sociedad de Quidditch, hay un montón de cosas. Estoy segura que si a ustedes les interesa van a encontrar algo que les guste y pues es una muy buena manera de conocer amigos. Y además, la universidad tiene una oficina que se llama JobLink, donde hay un montón de ofertas de trabajo, algunas son tiempo completo, otras son de medio tiempo, que son a las que yo pude acceder. Y pues es muy fácil porque te mandan las ofertas, tú decides si puedes trabajar o no, entonces es una muy buena forma de ganar dinero sin comprometer tanto el tiempo de tus estudios. Y también la universidad tiene un montón de ofertas de voluntariado, ya dependerá de sus gustos. Pueden, no sé, incluso desde escribirle cartas a personas de la tercera edad, ir con niños a platicar sobre sus experiencias a las escuelas, o sea, actividades hay un montón por hacer. Y pues el Student Ambassador, que es en lo que yo estoy ahorita colaborando con la Universidad de Leeds, es otra de las actividades en las que ustedes se pueden involucrar. Y Get Out, Get Active, que es un grupo al que yo me uní, donde cada semana pues tal vez cocinábamos juntos o hacíamos hiking, íbamos a lugares cerca. Entonces, por experiencia social, no va a faltar ninguna actividad en la que se puedan involucrar. Thank you, Megan. Next one. Bueno, y pues ahora algo que sí cambió mucho la forma en que yo estudié fue que me tocó en marzo la pandemia y pues sí fue como muy desconcertante porque yo no sabía cómo iba a terminar mi escuela, si podíamos seguir yendo a clases. Obviamente fue difícil porque muchas de los lugares de la universidad estaban cerrados. Principalmente a mí lo que me afectó fue la biblioteca, que ya no tenía como un lugar al 100 para estudiar y todo, pero pues la universidad rápido supo lidiar con la situación y todas las clases se fueron online. Igualmente para la tesis que yo estaba trabajando, si necesitaba un libro o algún paper, la universidad se encargaba y lo compraba muy rápido, solo necesitábamos escribirles qué necesitábamos y por qué, y nos lo hacía llegar. Igual siempre hubo mucha comunicación con la escuela, tanto con los maestros como con los tutores y el staff. Siempre estaban preocupados por cómo estábamos, por nuestro estado de salud, obviamente pues por nuestro estado mental, cómo nos sentíamos. Entonces creo que la universidad hizo muy buen trabajo al siempre estar al pendiente de nosotros. Thank you, Megan. Next one. Bueno, igual si tienen dudas, me pueden escribir a fernanda-link@leeds.ac.uk. Igual pueden checar también el programa de los embajadores. Como les mencionaba, los embajadores somos estudiantes de todas partes del mundo, de diferentes escuelas. Como mencionaba Lucy, hay muchos embajadores de las escuelas de Earth and Environment, entonces es cuestión de que busquen algún embajador que se adecue a lo que a ustedes les interesa y a lo que ustedes quieren estudiar y nos pueden escribir y pues ahí les podemos contestar algunas de sus dudas o inclusive decirles a dónde pueden escribir para que puedan entrar a la Universidad de Leeds. Por mi parte sería todo. Muchas gracias, Megan, Alejandro y Lucy. Un gusto.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias, Fernanda. Pues creo que ahora, muchas gracias por su tiempo a todos. Ahora creo que vamos a pasar a la sesión de preguntas y respuestas. Si tienen preguntas, por favor háganlas. Si quieren hacerlas en español, si se les hace más fácil, adelante. Vamos a habilitar esta sesión de preguntas y respuestas. Entonces, si quieren escribir sus preguntas, tanto para Lucy, para Fer, para Megan, para mí o para Kimi de Chevening, adelante. Kimi también está por ahí y podemos ayudarlos a responder las preguntas. Kimi, creo que tienes habilitado tu micrófono, entonces no sé si quieras tomar esta pregunta que es la que te hacen a ti.
Sí, gracias. Gracias, Jorge. Sobre Chevening, es sobre Chevening, sobre el sistema. ¿Cuándo presionamos Submit to Chevening? Cuando ya literal hayas terminado tu solicitud. Si lo haces antes y no has terminado, no vas a poder regresarte. O sea, y si no has terminado tu solicitud, desafortunadamente, entonces quedarías descartado. Entonces, sí, se pone Submit hasta que hayas terminado tu solicitud. por favor, cuando tengamos los documentos de deadline del 3 de noviembre o cuando tengamos también los documentos de los otros deadlines. No. En la presentación mencioné que al momento, ahorita, únicamente llenar la solicitud. No hay que subir ningún documento, no hay que presentar absolutamente nada, porque aunque lo vas a ver en dónde ponerlo, no está habilitado aún. Entonces, no se confundan. Primera etapa es únicamente la solicitud en línea y hacer su selección de sus 3 opciones de universidad. No tienen que subir nada aún. Y sobre el título, si mi título dice en el texto que obtuve mención honorífica, cuenta como VA, yo no te puedo asesorar sobre eso. Creo que es toma tú la mejor opción. Digamos que sé la respuesta, pero no te puedo asesorar tanto en eso porque sería influir en tu solicitud. No te preocupes por eso. Si quieres poner VA o VA ONS, eso lo dejamos completamente a tu discreción. No es necesario, gracias Luis Gilberto, no es necesario tener una carta de aceptación antes del 3 de noviembre. No es necesario. Si ya la tienes, qué bueno, te va a quitar un gran dolor de cabeza, pero guárdala. Y si pasas entrevista y ya y por ejemplo, si no la tuvieses para en ese momento, pero obviamente como ya la tienes, si pasas entrevista, entonces ya la puedes subir. Importante mencionar que tener las cartas de aceptación no te va a dar puntos extra, ni tampoco te va a quitar puntos si no las tienes. Entonces, tranquilos. ¿Sí? Por favor. Hola, Andrea, gracias por tu pregunta. Si no tengo todavía el certificado de inglés, ¿igual puedo aplicar a Chevening? Sí, porque justo como mencioné, nosotros ya no pedimos el certificado del inglés, eso es realmente para la universidad. De hecho, no, sin embargo, esto es como una sugerencia. Ve viendo cómo puedes justificar, cómo puedes hacer tu examen. Obviamente antes de soltarte a hacer exámenes, así como a lo tonto, no, primero verifica qué examen te piden a la universidad que quieres ir o a las universidades que quieres ir y obviamente el puntaje. ¿No? Obviamente el examen que más piden es IELTS, pero cada universidad tiene como sus propios, más bien, no que piden, que aceptan, es IELTS académico, pero yo digo que eso lo veas con las universidades. De todas maneras, aquí mi sugerencia es que sí ya lo vayas planeando hacer, porque por el momento los centros para hacer los exámenes están abiertos, no ha habido nuevamente restricciones, pero no sabemos cómo vaya a ser en los próximos meses, ¿no? Si volvamos a las restricciones de movilidad que teníamos. Hola Karen, las preguntas deben estar contestadas antes del 3 de noviembre. Sí, los 4 ensayos antes del 3 de noviembre, 6 de la mañana tiempo del centro de México, pero en lo particular yo te pondría, te sugeriría que, y bueno, esto es para todos, que la fecha límite sea como por el 1 de noviembre. ¿Por qué? Porque ustedes no son los únicos que están tratando de subir su solicitud. A veces el sistema se bloquea por el número de solicitantes que quieren hacer todo en el último fin de semana. Entonces, por favor, tomen en cuenta esto. En años pasados sí hubo una extensión del deadline para subir su solicitud, pero no se confíen. Quizás este año digan, no, los que pudieron subirla antes de la fecha límite y hora límite, adelante, y los que no, así se haya ido la luz, así se haya caído el internet, lo que sea, no les van a permitir subir. Entonces, o quizás sí, pero consideren como que no. Gracias.
Hi, Megan. I think this one's for either you or Lucy, whoever wants to take on that one.
Yeah, Lucy, are you able to answer this one? Oh, she might be typing in the chat. There you go. Oh, we've lost your audio, Lucy. We can't hear you. It might be easier for you to type. Yeah. Oh, we were doing so well. I think Lucy can now hear us after all this time. Yeah, but we can't hear you. So, do you want to move on to the next question, Alejandro, while Lucy types the answer to that one?
Sure. This is the next one for Kimi.
Hola, Kevin. En el caso de que la universidad me pida un depósito monetario para poder aplicar a la misma y estoy aplicando a Chevening, ¿cómo procedo para aplicar a esa universidad? Muy buena pregunta. Nosotros no damos anticipo bajo ninguna circunstancia, ni siquiera cuando son seleccionados ya en la etapa final para la beca. Todas las universidades conocen a Chevening y saben el proceso de Chevening. Aquí obviamente va a ser más como tu cuestión de habilidades de negociación y mencionarle a la universidad que estás concursando para la beca Chevening. ¿Cómo puedes confirmar esto? Primero, puedes compartirles, cuando tú termines tu solicitud vas a recibir un correo de confirmación. Esto puedes compartírselo. Por otro lado, si pasas a la entrevista, también te van a enviar un correo donde te dicen que has sido invitado para la siguiente etapa. Puedes compartir ese correo o ese screenshot. Y tercero, para si ya fuiste seleccionado, obviamente se te va a enviar una carta de condicionalmente aceptado. Puedes compartirles eso. Si tú decides, estás obviamente, y yo creo que sí, súper seguro de que vas a obtener Chevening, hay algunas personas que han optado por dar el depósito ellos, obviamente para garantizar el lugar en la universidad. Y si son seleccionados para Chevening, pueden pedir el reembolso a Chevening. Obviamente, si son seleccionados, repito. No es un proceso que recomendamos. ¿Por qué? Porque es un proceso que tarda en lo que te damos el reembolso. Por eso siempre es como la solicitud de que porfa traten de negociar lo más posible, ¿sí? Porque pues sí, no es no es una cantidad pequeña lo que en ocasiones piden las universidades.
Fer, si puedes contestar esta, si estás por ahí.
Sí. Ok, no veo quién hizo la pregunta. Que Karen. Pues mira, yo recuerdo que yo inicié como en febrero del 2019 aproximadamente y me contestaron aproximadamente un mes después de que ya estaba aceptada en la universidad. Yo hice trámites para una beca en mi universidad, aquí en la Universidad de Guadalajara, entonces me tardé un poquito más, pero también ya como en junio, creo que fue cuando contacté a Alejandro para que me ayudara con el proceso de la visa de Love UK. Entonces, igual no sé si ahorita por lo del COVID y eso las universidades estén tardando más, pero yo recomiendo que sí, ya creo que en la Universidad de Leeds abre en noviembre, Megan, no sé cuándo es cuando abre.
Empezaron ya, el 1 de octubre. Ya.
El 1 de octubre, ¿verdad? Ok, entonces ya puedes iniciar. Y otra cosa que a mí se me hizo muy bueno de la Universidad de Leeds es que no tiene un fee para que tú apliques a la universidad. Entonces, no pasa nada si al final aplicas y pues si te aceptan o no, creo que no perdiste nada, creo que es una buena opción. Entonces, como te comento, yo empecé desde en febrero y todo estuvo muy bien, no tuve ningún contratiempo.
Can I just add something to that as well? That quite a lot of the Mexican students that we're having, that we receive applications from, are obviously applying for funding. So you just need to bear that in mind when you're thinking about your application timeline, that if you need an offer before you apply to any funding like CONACYT, you need to allow time, especially because some of our master's courses now have staged processes, which means you can wait a little bit longer for a response. If you ever do apply to the university and you need to get an offer quite quickly, you can always get in touch with somebody like me and I can try and help speed things along. But if you need to apply to CONACYT on the 30th, don't apply to the university on the 29th because that'll be very stressful.
Sí, nada más justo como para terminar con esto, Karen, creo que el mejor momento para que apliques sería antes de que termine este año, ¿no? Como para que tú tengas una oferta iniciando 2021 y ya con esa oferta puedas aplicar a todas las becas disponibles para estudiantes mexicanos, ¿no? Tanto de la universidad como del gobierno, como Chevening, CONACYT, etcétera, ¿no? Creo que, a ver, creo que hay una pregunta para Kimi.
Hola, Tania. Este, Gracias por tu asesoría. Qué bueno que les esté sirviendo. Me gustaría obtener mis cartas de aceptación de las universidades lo más pronto posible del tema que tocaste ahorita de pedirle a las universidades que no pueden esperar para dar el depósito y apartar nuestro lugar. Y en base al tiempo de selección de Chevening, ¿cuándo consideras que sería el mejor tiempo para aplicar a las universidades? Yo creo que, como menciona Alejandro, lo más pronto posible. O sea, si aún no está siendo asesorada por alguien, acércate con WK. Ellos te pueden orientar en cuanto a todo eso. ¿Por qué? Porque conocen tanto de los tiempos de la universidad, de las universidades, como obviamente de Chevening, ¿sí? Pero les repito, por favor, no se presionen por esto. En esta primera etapa no es necesario que tengan una carta de aceptación, ni siquiera incluso haber iniciado el proceso. Si lo tienen una carta, qué bueno, guárdenla y después pueden subirlo más adelante. Y ahí me voy a la primera pregunta. Porfis, porque sí nos han llegado correos de que le di clic submit por error, automáticamente quedarían descartados. Entonces, por favor, ahorita nada más enfóquense a responder sus preguntas, enfóquense a seleccionar, hacer una muy buena selección de las universidades. Y eso es todo por el momento. Si ya tienen documentos, si ya tienen cartas, si ya tienen de referencia de las universidades, de lo que sea, guárdenlas y si pasan a la segunda etapa, que es entrevista, es cuando ya van a poder subir todo eso. Por el momento no es necesario y no lo pedimos porque nos harían más pesado el sistema. Y bueno, no les quiero contar lo que pasa.
Gracias, Kimi. Vamos a dar 3 minutitos más de preguntas. Megan y Lucy están en UK, entonces para ellas ya son casi las 6. Ya seguramente se han de querer desconectar para descansar después de un día largo de trabajo. Entonces, por favor, si nos pueden mandar sus preguntas para responderlas, ayudarlos con lo último que tengan por ahí de preguntas y daremos por terminado la sesión a las 12. Veo que hay varios escribiendo, entonces aquí los esperamos tantito.
Como comercial, el día de hoy vamos a tener una sesión varios Chevening Officers de la región. Voy a estar acompañada por Chevening Officer de Colombia, de Argentina, de Panamá y El Salvador. Hoy a las 5 de la tarde por las redes sociales de la embajada. Entonces, si ahorita están como que todavía procesando la información o no se les ocurren preguntas, no se preocupen. A las 5 vamos igual a estar respondiendo. Quizás hagan preguntas que ustedes no habían considerado, entonces ya ahí tienen como su banco de preguntas y respuestas. Todas las redes sociales, Twitter, Facebook y YouTube nos pueden seguir, nos pueden hacer preguntas por cualquiera de los 3 medios y cualquiera de los 5 Chevening Officers vamos a estar respondiendo preguntas al respecto, ¿no? Obviamente va a haber gente que se una de otros países de Latinoamérica, no importa porque más o menos las preguntas y sobre todo el proceso es el mismo en todos los lugares, ¿no? Entonces, para que también si ahorita están aún procesando, nos pueden seguir a las 5 de la tarde, redes sociales de la embajada, como referencia en Twitter estamos como UK in Mexico. O también, si me siguen en Twitter, ahí normalmente pregunto dónde voy a estar haciendo sesiones y demás.
Súper. Pues, ¿alguna otra pregunta Okay, well, I think
I forgot a last commercial. También, si siguen en Twitter a Chevening MX, que es la Asociación de Ex Becarios Chevening en México, por ejemplo, para todos los que nos hicieron ahorita preguntas que, perdón que no pueda a veces contestarlas todas, pero no que no sepa, sino que a veces sí me limita mucho el que soy juez y parte y puedo responder hasta cierto punto. No se preocupen, también una súper noticia, este viernes 24 va a haber una sesión de speed mentoring por los Chevening alumni. Ellos sí les pueden resolver todas sus dudas. Bueno, hasta cierto punto yo no puedo, e incluso darles tips. Entonces sigan, busquen en Twitter a Chevening MX, que es el Twitter de la Asociación de Ex Becarios. Va a haber un speed mentoring que ellos están organizando junto con Make Sense. Entonces, para que se inscriban y pueden recibir toda esa asesoría o sortear dudas que hasta cierto punto nosotros no podemos, ahí nos pueden, obviamente, los pueden seguir. Y por ahí rápido vi una pregunta y me voy a tomar el atrevimiento de contestarla. No, Kevin, el Love UK asesora para todos los países de Latinoamérica. De hecho, hemos tenido sesiones muy, muy exitosas con Guatemala y Honduras. Entonces, no se preocupen si son de algún otro país de Latinoamérica.
Sí, Kevin, de donde sea que seas de América Latina, te puedo ayudar sin ningún problema.
Ahora sí, ya terminé mis comerciales. Gracias.
So I think we're done. Thank you very much for your time, Megan, Lucy, Kimi, Fer. Thank you, everyone, all of the students that were participating and listening. I think this was a bit, with all the complications, we managed. And we've done a good effort, everyone. Thank you. So you have the contact details for everyone. We've recorded this, so at the end of this, we can share the video to all the attendees and the people that registered that couldn't log in. So that's another way that you can be in contact with us. We're gonna send you an email about this, and then please do send an email if you have questions for any of us. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great day in Mexico and rest of the evening in the UK. Thank you very much for your time, Lucy, Megan, Kimi.
Thanks, everyone.
Gracias a todos. Gracias, Ale. Thank you, Megan and Lucy.
Gracias, Kimi. Ciao.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.